Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the virtual Cobalt Cafe. It is week number 255 of our virtual series. Glad to have you here with us tonight. In addition to our open reading, our featured reader all the way from the East Coast is Regie Cabico. Reggie, really glad that you're here with us. Looking forward to hearing you read. People have been excited that you are here, and it's going to be an awesome night. So before we get to Reggie, we're going to do a chunk of our open reading, 5 open readers first. If you would like to read, please just send me a message in the chat, and I will be happy to add you to the list, just like Sean Mahoney did, or right there in the public chat. I feel comfortable revealing that because it's right there in the public chat. So I just added Sean to the list. Think of all the time I've saved not responding to Sean directly by typing, by just saying it out loud. You're welcome. So there you go. If you're on the list, you can read up to 2 poems. That's our maximum number of poems allowed here in the open mic. And as always, our suggested time limit is less is more. You heard me. There you go. We do have a 1 drink minimum here at the Cobalt Cafe. Make sure that you have a beverage with you to honor that long-standing tradition. I think I just spilled some of my 1 drink minimum on some of my old Japanese yen, which I just got out in preparation for my upcoming trip. I hope they don't mind when I try to spend them if a couple of them smell like tequila. We're just going to have to find out. So there you go. Chat room is open for you to interact with each other as well. Since everyone is muted throughout the evening, use it to say hi to each other, to react to what it is that people are saying when it's their turn to read. If you say something that you want people to click on, put it in the chat. Keep in mind, the chat room has changed a little bit. Zoom has kind of reformatted it a bit, so now, at least in what I have, there's like little tabs indicated by squares. So if you're chatting with more than one person, their name will appear in a little kind of square, and you click on them and you can see just their chat, etc. At least that's the way it is on the desktop version of Zoom. I don't know what it's like on the phone or other device. So whatever, you'll figure it out. It's gonna be fine. That's everything I need to tell you. Before we get going with our open reading, I would like to ask if there are any questions. Cathabella, yes.
Rick, what is your advice for getting around obstacles?
Well, I guess it depends on I just typically walk right around it. Like if you're on foot, for example, that's probably the best way to do it. Depending on the position of the obstacle and like where if there's like a wall on the right, you'd have to go to the left and vice versa. Sometimes you have the option of going left or right. Sometimes in a car, you just have to stop. You know what I'm saying? So those are just a couple of ways that I get around obstacles.
Good work.
All right. Thank you very much, Cathabella. Any other questions before we get going? All right, then. We're going to get going. On deck, our second reader will be Cheryl Latif. Please welcome our first reader, the right side up, Robert Sunderman. Hello, Robert.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, good. This is a speech it's not finished. I started it about 2 years ago that I gave to the Jordan High School faculty in the Hood in 2023. So here it is. It's not finished, but speech with an enclosed grammar lesson to be read aloud to the faculty upon the occasion of my retirement after 30 years of teaching. In the suffocating, unventilated classroom on the north side of the hall, in the 850 building where the wall of locked lockers secured against student storage, no longer stands. I stand or stood facing the camera head on, too late now to mitigate by a slight turn or repositioning of the head, the intense glare of the lenses, bifocals as I recall, although they might have been progressives. The dress shirt's collar and cuffs too loose around my neck and wrists inside an unbespoke plaid sports jacket. Left index finger and thumb holding a sketch of a bird drawn by my mother with colored pencils in front of a woven silk tie, the V dangling slightly over my belt buckle, its diagonal braille-like embossed lines trailing off into infinity. To my lower left, turned away from me, a 10th grader wearing an oversized, creaseless t-shirt. He's captured in an angle between profile and full face by the Canon LX2 snappy 35 millimeter point and shoot camera. In the viewfinder and later in the frameless black and white photograph printed on Kodak paper and taken from the brown envelope on my desk, you can see the hexagonal outline of his, the 10th grader's, Afro Pix handle silhouetted against the white bottom of a poster scotch taped to the shut wooden doors of a storage cabinet. Finally, and everything hinges on this, you, dear reader, can see along with me the laconic, slightly gruff, middle-aged Asian man working at Photo World, a family-run business just across from Bookstar, now Trader Joe's, in the Old Town Mall before it transitioned into the Torrance Promenade, where in the dark room, he who is much younger than me now deduces from the trial print, the final print's definitive exposure, in this case 12.3, and using tongs places the latter into and out of 3 successive trays of solution at precise, as opposed to precise, timed intervals. And then in the fourth of a 4-part process, rinses off gently with running water the silver halide and waits 2 minutes. I wrote Asian, but that's too general. He was and is Korean. But wait, I haven't described the third figure in the photo. In profile, hair tied in a bun, pencil behind ear in an image somehow nerdy and serene, a Cambodian student in a white shroud, decent, billowy garment, which in retrospect is not traditional temple attire, for then it would be orange, or even late 90s East Side Long Beach gang chic thugwear, but rather may reflect a pastoral influence. Let me explain. An aside, recently when deep in our cups, I asked my friend Paul, a decorated Vietnam combat veteran, about the differences, if any, between the Vietnamese and the Cambodian people. He replied, the Cambodians I met were country people, agricultural, much less metropolitan than the Vietnamese. Many of them, when they came here, eventually moved away from the city and into the Central Valley and are presently herding sheep. To conclude, I came for the money and stayed for the hallucinations. To be continued. Thank you.
Great piece to open us up with, Robert. I'm hoping that we provide the desired hallucinations you've stayed for here in Cobalt. It's all one big hallucination, so you just have to kind of come along for the ride. Thanks for coming back, and thanks for opening up the reading. All right, round of applause for Robert Sunderman. On deck, Kathabella, Jackie, Siggy, and Chris. Please welcome now Cheryl Latif. Hello, Cheryl.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. Another night of Cobalt, which I'm sure is going to be wonderful. I have two poems this evening, and I would like to dedicate them to Linda V.E. Crawford. The first poem is entitled Coda. Cruel memories, stubborn resolve, rises and falls like incantations. You ride the pitch and tone through nameless days. I could tell you the course of a river can't be changed, but you've seen his face in its quiet reflection, felt the pull of shifting streams. Some days you are the strength of those currents, others lost in their fickle eddy, knots in your hair, too long uncombed. It matters not if it's water or song, this swell of chance, unlikely visitations, only that it brooks your sorrow, those last days when even your love could not save him. You tell me you've been where the river once flowed, banks alive now with black-eyed Susans, how it's their spring, not yours, how their hollow eyes hold your gaze. Innocence long buried in unmarked graves, you ride the rapids of an uncertain future. As for love, there is less of it now, but more need. Even the poets have lost their way. Thank you. This second poem is also a poem that I wrote quite a while ago. It's entitled Threads. You have clothed your contradictions in kente and mudcloth, concealing only the naked truth of loving outside your tribe. Sooner or later, you can no longer hide the politics of your passion. So you move on, quick to forget how you pressed your hungry mouth to mine, told me lies. I can't remember where or how we became familiar, like hotel rooms, or why, though we never said it, goodbye resounds like church bells over Midtown Sunday mornings. I haven't breath enough to argue the fine points, beginnings and endings, or how that which occurs between is fractured and singular, like scenes seen from a speeding train. I only know this one detail you missed. Sabra and slave, diaspora claims us both. Thank you.
Well done, Cheryl. Glad to have you back again. Great to hear old Cheryl Lateef poems as well. I'll take an old Cheryl Lateef poem over a no Cheryl Lateef poem, if you know what I'm saying. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Cheryl Lateef back in our fold. On deck, Richard Loringer. Please welcome now the collab, Cathabella Wilson, Jackie, Chow, Siggy. Sorry, this takes me a long time because I have to unmute them all at once.
There we are.
Chris
Let's see.
Kondo. Hello to all of you.
Yes, turn on the sharing would be good. Is good. And then hopefully, here we go. Hello, everybody. We love our collab. Love everyone, and we're going to tell you how to get around obstacles. There's Siggy.
Getting around obstacles. My stress level. People's annoyed comment, you need to change, conforming to their ways. I ban them from my house.
Rickums, play your flute. We're reading. Right. Here he comes. He'll come right in. We didn't realize we were next. Okay, Jackie.
The jangle of keys around the necks of passers-by. Who's here to unlock these invisible bars?
That's a really good one. I even submitted that as one of the best in the issue.
Oh, great. Thank you, Catabella.
I wrote it. I think it's a wonderful poem. Most
Okay.
of these poems are just written, but that one I used of Jackie's because I love it so much. Read it again, Jackie.
The jangle of keys around the necks of passers-by. Who's here to unlock these invisible bars?
Excellent.
Back and forth, rising and falling, bush warblers calls and answers, expand the clear sky.
Jackie.
Clear blue sky, punctuated by a few ravens. These words I write, all I can muster.
Perfect. Hydrangea garden in Kamakura. One blue marble rolls down the stairs. Out of the blue leftover sky, still keeps my mind clear.
In the 60s, my shorter legs helpful, backseat in car. Always know my role, take the center with a hump.
Oh, where is it? Adding a flag to my flowery hat. I marched back to the 60s last week. Thousands of smiles can change the world. There's a little flag. Okay, Jackie, a lizard.
A lizard camouflaged on the concrete. I detour around homicidality.
Amazing. I've never heard anybody say that before. And I was avoiding the jacaranda flowers on the sidewalk. They're perfect shapes. The bee comes to the fallen.
Toddler's toys left in the darndest places, painful to step on. Mom's slippers find them, her screech in the night.
I can just hear it. Chris.
My new shirt. The arms come down to my fingertips. Out with the scissors, now comfortably elbow length.
Very good. A monarch butterfly on the front of my shirt. No kings. My sign for the protest. I write on her wings. Now, Chris,
Lovely.
I think I missed one of yours. Could you read them? Oh, no, there's that one. You read this, right?
Yeah,
And was there one other one?
not that I know of.
Oh, okay. All right.
I did write 3 yesterday, but
I know. I thought I put them all in.
it's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
sorry. I'm so happy we're doing this together. Thank you so much for coming all the way from
Thank you.
Japan. And here's Rick.
Hello.
Hello. And here's his flute.
If you want to know, this is a replica of a Native American flute. The original was made about 1400 years ago. It's decorated in patterns of the time,
Symbolic.
hieroglyphs,
Yeah. This is not
Lovely.
the
Rick,
original.
thank you for sharing that with us. Cathabella, Jackie, Siggy, and Chris, always appreciate your collaboration. Thank you so much for being
Thank you,
here,
Rick.
writing across
Thank you.
continents. Great to have you here. Round of applause to all of those folks. Thank you so much. Moving on deck, we've got two more readers, and then our featured reader, Regie Cabico. On deck is Linda V.E. Crawford. Please welcome now Richard Loringer. Hello, Richard.
Hello, and welcome to Regie. I'm looking forward to hearing you. It's been a while. I'm gonna. Sorry, that took me aback. That comment. As an avowed homosexual, I'm of the stance that whatever I care to write is homosexual writing, regardless of the content. That said, since it is Pride Month, and one in which homosexuals, among other things, like to share pieces about sexuality, I'm going to read you two, sort of. The first one is also about being a mammal, which is one of my other identities. And this poem, which is pretty brief, has two homonyms. Is that the right word? It's got, when I say the word sighing, when I say the word genes, it's like genetics, genes. And when I say the word sighing, it's actually the word psi, PSI, as in, as in, what's it called? What's PSI mean? I'm the sharpest cookie in the jar tonight. Anyway, sighing is PSIing. Mammalian dilemma. A wondrous bungle reaps the royal rump. A beaming lump of ectoplasm sings the praises of a newborn ring of gunk that spawns a new regime, a culture even. Oh, give us spleen enough to hump the dog of night that holds us down in lizard town, muling and praying in our goat hair suits to take another gobble of the randy cake. Sweet rake, you know not whence your genes protrude into the arching day, nor how to ride the sighing wave, nor which bright spark to rude in perfect rhythm on the blooming world. And yet, I love you more than worms aspire, just as my love makes our disease more dire. I'm not going to explain that one, nor am I going to explain this one, and pardon if I've read it here before, but it is a little strident. And it's also a beer hall song. So if you're drinking beer, and it is called After Freud, Before Freudiana. I and my anus concordantly do, and thus the erupting congeesement is rupturedly us, and so in a fracas the fricasseed puss is cussing the carcass of carnal distrust and tumbling down the truss, tumbling down the truss. Hey ho! Before we can carry the carne delecte of dad's predilection into the refraction of lust balancé into dust, we must fit a fraction of furtifish lads with volatile nads before they become would have hads of hads, before they become would have hads. Ho hey! The raunchy pervity is pervily witty and showers the landscape with flowery flesh cakes, unless the poor ribald be cunningly libeled by brackish intention and counter repension that blames the ensuing ungainly undoing of love-struck perversion, the very immersion in which is the unsickly, wickedly tickly miasma of yum yum itself. Yo hey! You are your duty most duly erect, and thus the eponymous modus is sweeteningly thrust, and so in a moment of total entrust, you're wasting the Dorcas of wanton rebuff, basting the corpus of with nipply gust, tasting the porpoise of bodily bust, and gobbling up the lust, gobbling up the lust. You ho! That's your beer hall song for the evening. I refuse to explain or apologize for either of those. And it's nice to see y'all. Happy Pride Month.
Thank you, Richard. I do have a question. You were searching for the right word there. You were looking at homonyms in the spirit of the month and of your own stated identity. What would the appropriate word be? Homonyms.
You say homonym, and I say, let's go out for a drink.
Cheers, my friend.
All right. Cheers.
I also want to just be careful. I just want you to avoid sharp cookies as well. You want a cookie that's kind of more of a rounded thing. You don't want to cut yourself. You know what I'm saying?
It's an expression from my former land.
The one over there behind you, behind that door?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
gotcha. Richard, I enjoyed both of those a lot. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Pride Month to you. And thanks for being here. A round of applause for Richard Loringer on deck. Our featured reader, Regie Cabico. Please welcome now Linda V.E. Crawford. Hello, Linda.
Hello, good evening. Just one poem this evening, and you were one. A pigeon in the metro station. There's a pigeon in the metro station alone, pecking granite for seed, bits of burger and sushi. Is the pigeon in the metro station discerning of choice, mindful of loneliness, caring of the flutter of feet, the pecking of thumbs on mobiles, the ups and downs of human necks, their lack of grace to thrust and hold? There's a pigeon in the metro station, alone, forgetting to preen its banded gray, folding its longing plume of white. Find your sky in the crevice, pigeon. Your mother didn't birth you here. End of poem. Thank you. That's the one.
Thank you, Linda. Great piece. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. Always happy when you show up. Round of applause for Linda V.E. Crawford. On deck after our featured reader is Denise Dumars. So stand by, Denise. It's time to bring on our featured reader, Regie Cabico. Regie is a poet whose work I came across thanks to Academy of American Poets Poem a Day email. Was really excited to read the poem when I got it in the mail and immediately added Regie to my list to invite. And lo and behold, Regie was nice enough to say yes and be here. So I love discovering poets who I haven't heard before, which means nothing about the accomplishments of the poets. Regie is quite accomplished despite having not been on my personal radar up until that email. He's the author of the book A Rabbit in Search of a Rolex, a title worthy of a book purchase on its own merits. He's the interim executive director for A Gathering of the Tribes. Regie, I hope you tell us about that and what that's about. It's late where Regie is. It's 11 o'clock at night there. He's an East Coast poet, which explains a couple of these next credits. He's a Nuyorican poet, Grand Slam champion. He's appeared on HBO's Def Jam Poetry. He's done a TEDx talk. He's been on NPR's Snap Judgment, 2 episodes of The Poet Speaks. He lives and works in the lands of the Piscataway and Lenapehoking tribes. Although I mispronounced that, I'm sure thanks for paying respect to those first residents of where you come from. Regie, I'm really excited that you're here. Please welcome our featured reader, Regie Cabico.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm a little hoarse. I was yelling at 5th graders today. They were out of control. Greetings from the DMV. as we say. I'm just so blown away that my sister is here, Charity Cabico is here, and also Richard Loringer and Jimmy Jazz. I feel like we are this isosceles triangle. Well, not because it's four, but I think that we are making an incredible configuration here. Anyway, I am following off Richard's queer theme. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to read some of my poems. So if you're queer, make some noise, snap it up. And um, I will start with an ode to my sandals. Oh, ache of pavement, oh, Dr. Scholl's with three black straps, wrapping metatarsals, oh, soft sandals that should come with jelly rubber balls, my slippery seals in a circus. When I walk along the Southwest Wharf for a painkiller cocktail, my feet beg to be squeezed as if they were size 10 Meyer lemons strolling in a summer storm. My arches want the knuckle strength of a tenacious, tender carabao to plow my knotted fields of plantar fascia. And the dry pebbles of my phalanges, those piggies popping, the leather scraping a hole into the hard sole. At night, my sandals scatter like a couple on the verge of divorce. One detests my stompity floppity beat. The other caresses the sore arches of tippy-toe balletic releve. These are not therapeutic sandals or sexy sandals. They are peppermint patty sandals. Well, one is peppermint patty, the other is Marcy. They may not be very sexual, but they're very, very queer. All right, that is an ode to my sandals. And you will find that poem online. If you look at Pride Poems and my name, you'll probably see that poem because that's been on there. The next poem that I'm going to perform is called The Poem That Ends with Too Many Dicks in a Ball, when I thought I'd given up writing about dick for Lent. My head against the proteas, my eyes to the horizon, my teeth to the hot air balloon, my elbows to the Teslas, my cheekbones to the bird bath, my lungs to the centaurs, my fingers to the ladybugs, my saliva to the Big Dipper, my nipple to the guitar strings that strum arpeggios to fire alarms, my poetry to Technicolor speakeasies, my foot to the mistletoe, my penis to the Supreme Court, my poetic penis to sonatas, my penis in another life to the Egyptian goddess Isis, my penis as it stands to Florida, my penis as it stands to Colin Farrell, my penis as it rests on a plate of penne, patiently waiting for Alfredo. My penis of fortune to the whoopee cushion, my penis of positivity to the pinatas and cherry blossoms and chocolate cookies and mocktails and Chippendale strippers and fairy tales and cruise ships sailing past empathetic Vikings. Oh, my penis in the jaws of the moonlit lakes and the gospel shores of slick seals and sperm whales. Let us drive our Trojan horses through the artificial intelligence of our demise before the genetically engineered woolly mammoth meatballs makes it on the McDonald's dollar menu. Um, all right, I'm gonna shift. I got a few more. This is my book, A Rabbit in Search of a Rolex. And I totally recommend that you buy several copies of this book because I promise you it will inspire you to write poems. Because I wrote this during the pandemic. This is my first published book, by the way. And if you don't have a book, don't follow Uncle Reggie. Go ahead and like publish. But I mean, I've made my own books, which I enjoy. But this book was written during the pandemic, and I was trying to just write a poem a day. And the exercise that I gave myself is that I would fixate on an idea or an object. So some of the poems in the book reflect that. So there's hinoki, onomatopoeia, charcuterie board, tooth fairy, Langston Hughes, onomatopoeia. So they're meditations, and I made a rule that it would be no more than 4 or 5 sentences. So I'm going to read some poems from the book. All right. Croissant. I am a croissant in a rehab circle with other pastries. The blueberry muffin discloses their toasted lifestyle. I get triggered by the donut exposing its jelly filling. I have a crush on a churro. Last night, we knocked ourselves into a singular Cinnabon, rolling around in butter. All right, croissant, you will never look at a croissant the same way again. And my partner is British, and I performed this poem, and it didn't go over well because it was just so scandalous. And I'm like, it's pastries. It's like, you know. Anyway, so that's croissants. This is hammock. I have fallen in the universe's hammock. I listen to the trees walk and skip around me. I am the white rabbit in search of a Rolex. I feel the kindness of dice roll around my knees. Charcuterie board. A boar's head appears on a plate. Flying piglets descend upon the boar and take it towards the sun, piercing the horizon. Stanley Tucci asks, "Do you know these piglets?" I reply, "Just because I'm Filipino doesn't mean I'm part of the piglet community." Langston Hughes. Blue stars burst in my pants. I tell the poet that his poems have a fierce swing. And you make me explode, says the poet with a wink. Flashing eyes that are bright and gay. I wink back. We survive the dream deferred. A chorus line of dancing raisins sing, "We are the dream." Raven. A poet has died. I read it from the angle of moonbeams. Sinead O'Connor sings, "This passing shall hurt you severely." I'd like to learn of a poet's death from ravens delivering me tea cakes and champagne. I see the poet's face behind me in the bathroom mirror. How many poems will it cost to bring you back? And Rick, it's such an honor to be here in Cobalt Land. This is like such a wonderful space. All of the poets are truly, truly inspiring. And so it makes me think of the West Coast. So I'm going to close with this last piece, and it's a piece that connected me and Rick because it's called "Morning After the Election." And so, yes, it was the morning after the election, and the librarian teacher said to me, "Reggie, you don't have to come in if you don't want to. You don't have to teach poetry." And I said, "Oh no, we're gonna write. We're gonna write a poem." And so I want to leave you with this poem, and I'll leave the link of the poem if you want to read it and share it with someone else. So I have a saying: the world may not be sturdy, but poetry will hold us up. Morning after the election. I can't control the vanishing of bees, but I can control the honey I swallow to soothe the vocal cords. I can't control boys bully tumbling another boy in the classroom like they're in a mosh pit, but I can remember rolling on hills with boys being the bully. I can't change my major from drama to global peace, but I can write similes of serenity and poetic sermons in temples of matrimonial fanfare. I know the bombs, the explosives, and Molotovs are overhead. And I can't control the lottery, the multiverses, and tomorrow's astrology. But whatever tarot card I pick or whatever gets thrown at my face, hangman, fallen towers, I can express my weathering emotions, to sing while hoarse, to control air placement, to find the chakra, the right amount of air to pass through my throat. Oh, sing with me the octave between blade and nectar, rubble and clouds, ash and mountain. Thank you so, so much. And I'm turning it over to Rick. Thank you. Thank you. You never know who reads a poem. And it's like writing a poem is like throwing a message in a bottle. And if someone finds it and spreads that poem, then that's all you can hope for. So this is a joy. This one poem connected me to all of you. And that's truly a blessing. Thank you.
Reggie, thank you. The joy is ours. What a great reading that you gave us. So many lines to refer back to. Would take me as long as you took reading to read all the lines back to you that I thought were cool. I have a crush on a churro, stood out. More penis mentions than we've ever had here at Cobalt, and by God, it's about time, I'll tell you. I'd like to learn of a poet's death by ravens delivering tea cakes. Just seems like the best goal to have, or perhaps the worst when you think about it too. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you for holding us up with your poetry as well. And glad your sister was here as well. At one point, we had 3 of your sister in the waiting room. I'm glad
She is a Gemini. And I'm so glad that she could come to a reading and I don't have to buy her drinks. So.
Yeah, very good. I'm pasting some stuff in the chat. There it is now pasted, and I'm going to share the screen and show the broadside I made for that last poem, which is, of course, the one that I came across, or that came across me. I don't know, it was bed. I was in bed and it was in the email, so here we are. There's the broadside I made. You can download it now at the Cobalt Poets website, poetrysuperhighway.com/cobalt. It's an 11 by 17 print that you can download and just look at. You can print it out if you would like. And I hope you'll consider tipping / compensating our featured poet for his reading. Reggie's Venmo ID has been pasted into the chat. And it's a great way to let a poet know that you dig what they did. Throwing some money into the virtual hat. The Venmo is the virtual hat in this case. Also, there's a link to Reggie's book, his first book, his only book, A Rabbit in Search of a Rolex, published by Day 8 Books. There at the Day 8 Books website as well. So that's a great way to let a poet know that you love them by buying one of their books. So please do that. I support Reggie's recommendation that you should buy several copies of it. They look big too, so you could probably do things with them and hold things up when you're not reading them. It seems like there's a whole lot you could do with that. So, Reggie, a quick question: what is a gathering of tribes that you're the executive director of?
Thank you. A Gathering of the Tribes is an organization in the Lower East Side. It started in 1991 by African-American blind professor Steve Cannon. In that house, which was diagonal to the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, not house, but in that apartment, Antezaki Shange, Jessica Hagedorn, the artist David Hammonds, they would all gather and create. And so the tradition of real, raw, Lower East Side aesthetic. I mean, Richard, you know it. Like Richard Loringer would definitely be in the Gathering of the Tribes and part of the tribes for sure. And so you want to check it out at tribes.org. We have a lot of gay poets that we're featuring, and we hope that you'll support this organization on the other coast. So thank you for asking.
Sure, no problem. Sounds amazing. I'm pasting a link in the chat so everyone can just click on it if they would like. And thank you for doing that work. Glad you were here. Glad you found a good and comfortable space here, just from what we do and the people who you know here. And please come back and share more with us sometime. Round of applause for our featured reader, Regie Cabico. Thank you so much, Reggie. I'll mention next week our featured poet is going to be Himat Malak, another name I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, but who knows? Maybe not. Maybe I'm sort of close. And so they will be here next week. The following 2 weeks, I will be on vacation, so we won't be having a reading, and then we'll pick it up after that where we left off. But that does not diminish the rest of tonight. Here's who I have on the list in this order for the rest of the open reading: Denise Dumars, Jeffrey Bryant, Christopher Bogart, Julian Matthews, Jimmy Jazz, Sean Mahoney, Michael G. Hickey, Jennifer Elise Wang, Martin Parker, Scott Norman Rosenthal, Ken Scott, Heidi Casa, Dig Wayne, and me. If anyone would like to be added, please send me a message in the chat and I will be happy to add you. As a reminder, 2 poems maximum. Less is more is a suggested time limit. Jeffrey Bryant, you're on deck. Please welcome now Denise Dumars. Hi, Denise.
Wow, that was amazing. What a hard act to follow. Wow. Just amazing, Reggie. Okay, I'm going to read 2 real quick. They're both 24 lines long. I don't know why. This one is called From a Line Read on Social Media. Half my friends are clowns, the other half are Satanists. So please stop making monsters of these doubly damned groups. It's the man sitting on the stoop or the laundress in the heat that ought to fuel the fear of any decent person here. That big brown shaggy dog, a spray of otherwise lovely leaves to which nature gave both defenses, either one with means to rend us. A loose rivet on an airplane wing, 1,000 million man-made things, benign but deadly in their erring way, pure luck that we survived them. So take your monsters from the mundane, not the exotic or the quixotic, that you never will see coming. Stop blaming hatchet men and women. It's the banal and quotidian, the boardroom raised from hell, the schoolroom, a torture chamber. Please, Baphomet, save me. And this next one was published in the Horror Writers Association Poetry Showcase #9. It's called Everything That Scares You. And it starts with a quote from Elisa Elliott. Do everything that scares you at least twice. Oh, but you don't really mean what disgusts us, as disgust is the larger part of fear. Disgust at the dusty web with crinkled spider legs, the drying organs of a skunk on summer asphalt, the look of the man with maggots in his wound. No, you mean those pretty scares of teendom, those that sexually excite and bring the blood into those tender places. And when the knives fly red in slasher films, the youth command with such bravado from the safety of his gaming chair. So when no scare is thrilling enough, driving on your 18th birthday through the bright day-lit red light and into the arms of death so mundane as the 1968 Dodge made of Detroit iron that propelled you into no one's history. But the stink of rotting daylilies and those little midges around the marble of the quite affordable columbarium, plastic flowers that have faded in the sun, the police snickering at the photos of the scary things you can't do twice. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Quick question. Was there any overlap in the clowns and the Satanists, or were they two distinct groups?
I'm not sure. That's the line I saw on social media. I would think there would be some overlap, yes.
Yeah, you'd think. You'd think that probably most clowns, I would think.
I would imagine, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Denise. Thank you so much for being here. Always enjoy your work. Round of applause for Denise Dumars. On deck, Christopher Bogart. Please welcome now Jeffrey Bryant. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hi, it's a wonderful evening to be reading some poetry with Richard and Regie. I've never heard you before, and I'm really thrilled and a big new fan. I wanted to mention that we have a book coming out, The Catacombs of Vanished Lovers, on Cherry Pie Press, which is a new queer press from Natasha Dennerstein. And I put a invite to our event in the Cobalt Poets page, so everybody can see it. We'll have pre-order information in there also. So I will read two poems from that I don't think I've read here before. I was apprehensive about reading this first one, but now hearing Richard and Regie, I'm not at all. So here we go. This is called Steamed Heat Lovers. Here you come, you Stetson stud, with what you call your 8th Avenue swagger. You're so chock full of nuts with your wet poems written on coin-operated typewriters, a thrift store guitar around your neck, another twisted Texan in a chorus line of Midnight Cowboys. You're perfect, because we're both out of tune. Ancient snowfall keeps us here at the bar while you sour mash to Johnny Cash against my thigh. Thank God we can walk to my hotel from here. I'm renting by the week some Murray Hill way station over on 46th with hot and cold laughing faucets, a Gideon Bible missing Leviticus, sheets I bought myself, and room for you. It's your call, top or bottom. I'm versatile. Lick out a haiku across each cheek. Warm me inside with your tongue. Locomote me like steamed heat lovers do, fucking 5 floors above a junkie's lullaby. This next one is called Play Me Off, he said. I played soft piano etudes for him, gently, against the tempo of his labored breathing. His fragile flesh held together with the frayed strings of discount courage. Each etude I wrestled against requiem, turned left to avoid lament, as death teased him with its long raven feathers, and the cinema of his lifetime played out across his failing eyes. The sun took its time dropping down that day, the single star that graciously agreed to dim 1 minute in his honor. My final musical notes were slowly pulled over his face, and he vanished under cover of dissonance. I was confronted with what remained, swirling in a mist of perfumed prayers. I fell silent over the wet keys of a weeping piano. I have no one left now to lay to rest. Thank you.
Wow, Jeffrey, stunning work as always. I'm really intrigued by your method of writing haiku as described in the first poem. Best of luck with
fun.
I can imagine. It's
and educational.
Sure.
And other things. Sorry, shut
and
up.
Other things. It sounds like it would be all of those things, and I'm going to give it a try. And may or may not report back, or maybe I'll just give the words that come along as a result of it. How do you know that's what I haven't been doing this whole time? I'm not sure. Jeffrey, thank you so much for being here. Good luck with it's a little less than a month away.
July 6th. It's at the Makery Gallery in Little Tokyo, and we have K.R. Morrison, former feature. We have Tracy Kato Karayama and T. Gardner, a fairly new poet, and me. And then we'll be in the Bay Area at the end of July also with a few readings.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking at the event, and the event says it's in Oakland on...
Yeah, that's Natasha is in Oakland. The event is not.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, good luck with it. Looking forward to hearing more from the book, and thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Jeffrey Bryant. On deck, Julian Matthews. Please welcome now Christopher Bogart. Hello, Christopher.
Hi. I wanted to show two things. First of all is a few people in the room, including a guy that I've never seen before, is in this book, and it is well worth, it's 83 poets who are speaking against what's going on in the country today. I also want to show you another book really quickly, and that's this book that I just got in the mail. It is really funny. If you like dry humor, this is it. And it's written by our own Rick Lupert. So having said those two things, I am now going to, by the way, okay, since you did that, I've got to read what he wrote in the front of this book. I had told him that this was an uneven switch, that my 79-page book was not equal to his 300 and something page book. So he said, Christopher, your book is not too thin, but if you'd like, feel free to tear some pages out of this one and stick them into your copies. That's Rick. So at any event, I'm going to read two poems. One of them a real downer, but then that's what you should expect from me by now. And the other one actually funny. One of them is, they're both in honor of Gay Pride Month. Let me see, on the 19th of July, 2005, Ayaz Marhoni and Mahmoud Asghari, both Iranian Arabs, were publicly hanged in a square in Mashhad. Amnesty International believes that Mahmoud was 15 years old and Ayaz was 16 at the time of the crime. Both were flogged 228 times before their execution. The true nature of their alleged crime is disputed, but they were both gay. I wrote a poem to these two, and I'm going to share the screen if you don't mind, but it's not going to be to show you the poem. It's going to be to show you pictures. And this is, I don't have it up. So never mind. I'll just do this. A slave to his heart. From a literary thing called a Shatar Makala, and I probably am really murdering that, is though shame it be a fair one's curls to shear, why rise in wrath or sit in sorrow here? The picture above is of Sultan Mahmud. It just so happened that he had fallen in love with his slave, and because in the Muslim religion you put to death for that, he ended up pushing him away. So the first part of this is about those two. Sultan Mahmud had placed his blade in Aya's open hand, then rose from piles of silken plush to issue cold command. Slave of my heart, put off your curls that are so tempting me to violate the path of law, the way of chivalry. Ayaz took up the royal blade and sheared his ebon hair, then laid the locks upon the plush before his master's glare. For that quick cut, Sultan Mahmud loved Ayaz even more, yet sent his slave away with gold and the kingship in Lahore. Young Mahmud placed his teenage heart in Aya's gentle hands. Despite fears of violation of the law's commands, discovery was quick and treachery not far behind. They beat and tortured and confessed, for love for them was blind. The Sultan sacrificed his heart to keep his golden crown. Young Mahmud and young Ayaz hung until they cut them down. That's a memoriam to Mahmud and Ayaz. And the second one, you don't have to see. I'm just going to read it to you. This is also for gay pride, but it's a funny poem, hopefully. It's what happened one day in my house, my mother being a homophobe. It's called The Day the Lesbians Painted Our House. The day the lesbians painted our house was a memorable affair. My mother kept my sister inside that day. Play in your room, she barked. Why, my 5-year-old sister whined. It's so nice outside today. No, it's not, Mother frantically cried. Do what I tell you to do. Fine, my sister pouted, shaking her head, rolling her eyes, and stomping her feet up the stairs. Confined to her room, she laid her dolls out, straight, in a very straight line. There were girl dolls, all of them. She didn't have any Ken dolls, any G.I. Joes, and not one Raggedy Andy. Chatty Cathy snuggled up next to wee Betsy Wetsy, with Malibu Barbie wedged tight in between. What a bizarre social scene, with her big bridal doll at the end of the line, in a white bridal veil, wrapped round her head in a snood. But besides dangling pearly earrings, she was totally nude. Stay away from the windows, Mother shouted up the stairs. As the house-painting lesbians set up their ladders, spread out their drop cloths, and prepared to paint our house. A few hours later, at the end of the day, the ladders, the drop cloths, the paint cans, and brushes were all put neatly away. My mother went out, paid those house-painting lesbians. They shook her hand firmly. The van drove away. Would you believe they tried to hit on me? My mother exclaimed as she slammed shut the door. The house shook a little. The big bridal doll with her white lace veil and her dangling pearl earrings took a header off the bed, falling face down on the floor. The wedding, it seemed, was off. Thank you.
Christopher, thank you so much. Your mother must have been a very attractive woman. Thank you so much for sharing both of those pieces. And I meant what I say, but please definitely feel free to tear pages out of that book and stick them in yours, and we can even this whole thing out. So there you go. Thank you for wanting to have a copy of my book. Thanks for holding it up. That's really cool. Round of applause for Christopher Bogart, everybody. On deck is Jimmy Jazz. Please welcome now Julian Matthews. Hello, Julian.
Hi. May I share screen? Thank you. Fly. I never visited my father in hospital when he had his first heart attack, or my mother when she had her operation. I never wanted to see my parents in pain, suffering, lying in distress. I just wanted to stay in the warm cocoon of my own ignorance. In a child's eyes, a father and a mother are made of cast iron, everlasting, never in need of repair. Like the reliable hinge that pivots and swings, never separating from the door, that light that always comes on when you open the fridge for a midnight snack, the clean bed, fluffed up pillows, ever ready to receive a troubled mind. Here, there's always flowers in the living room vase. The porch light is always left on when you're home late. The car always starts at the turn of the ignition, sparks like a first kiss. And there's always gas in the tank for the long journey to Grandma's. We know that day will come. Seeing you in the mirror, all dressed for prom, graduation, your first job interview, maybe an engagement or a wedding. When leaning over the forsaken nest, chrysalis broken, wings stretched with tears rimming eyes, we'll have to let go. But like prodigal parts of our heart before the first fall, the rolled gurney, the raised bed, the smell of hospital disinfectant, the hospice. Know that there's still a warm, well-lit place, sheltered from the pain of this darkening world, for you to come home. And poem. The second one is called Scab. I love you like stitches love a wound. When the threads are out, the scar is for life. The keloid fades, but this fleshly binding is forever. Love is both the hurting and the healing. Breaking news, love isn't a window, they are the pain. Love isn't an open door, they are the slam and passage of time. Love isn't the courting, the ring, the threshold lift. Love, if anything, is the threshing. Love is the winnowing for the granary. Love is the chafing of places indiscreet. Love is friction. Love blisters. Love burns. Therein lies the rub. You can't wait around for love to be patient or kind or be hopeful of their return. Reciprocation is a short two-way street. Love is the long drive passing street light after street light. Darkness, then another. Darkness, then another. Love claims the toll down windy, unpaved roads. Love doesn't care of your comings or their leaving. Love is not blind, but plays dumb to needy pleading. Love, nevertheless, is evermore. The call of nevermore, unheeded in never, never land. Love is the laceration, the bleeding, and the scab after. Love is the cleaver and the cleaving. Love isn't prejudice on who they hurt, who they band-aid, or who they unravel. In love's wake, you only hear out in the distance the cauterizing cackle. Thank you.
Love is the cleaver and the cleaving. I just had this vision of me going up to my wife with a big meat cleaver and saying, love is the cleaver and the cleaving. But I'm probably not going to do that now that I think about it. Great poems, Julian. Thank you so much for being here. Always good work from you. Round of applause for Julian Matthews. On deck, Sean Mahoney. Please welcome Jimmy Jazz. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Regie Cabico. Good to see your face and hear you speak. This is called Unrequited Love. Imagine a human so beautiful she'd never known unrequited love. Everyone loves her or wants to. The attentions of the pawing humanity, the abrasion of paparazzi. In 1983, a friend who was smart and shy and sweet and sincere and honest sent his first love letter and got his first rejection. I do not reciprocate your feelings. One more. I might have read this one the last time I was here. I don't know. It's called The Philatelist. The philatelist licks a rare stamp with the deft facility and deep reverence of the bonobo, gleaning the asshole of his copulate. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Poetry. Jimmy, that was fantastic. Well done. You lurk here a lot. I'm always really excited when you read, and also really honored that you choose to lurk here sometimes as well. Thank you so much for being here. Great job. Round of applause for Jimmy Jazz. On deck, Michael G. Hickey. Please welcome now Sean Mahoney. Hello, Sean.
Good evening, Rick. Hello, everyone. So I found something when I was rooting around older stuff. This poem, God, it's between 20 and 25 years old. It's old. That's all I'm going to say about it. This is called, and I may have read it here before. I really don't recall. Loading dock at Sears Auto, Montclair, California. In the rearview mirror, a thin trail of snow vanishing, disappearing from granite pleats and folds behind me. Trinkets of water sparkle down, smoothing and rounding stones, refilled depleted aquifers if we are indeed blessed. But we are not. Rainfall gets slapped and splattered by asphalt and concrete, tossed around as the target of an evaporative invocation. Water is life, the Vatican town criers wail, and I move, shake their hands wherever they call from. But over there the slope is steep and crowded with outsourced people, and here the uneven terrain is hummock and dust, cloud walk, thought muddle. So many questions of mind and matters. My dear brother's heart wondering the state and or spectacle of decline in which I may fly. How can he best be prepared? The list of absurdities could go on like 1,000 pills burning as hope, 1,000,000 drops of hypersensate pain, on like discomfort and sleeplessness, on waking again cramped, stiff with rain, unpredictability ad infinitum. But you know that already. You know that one person's reach extended through the imagined downpours at minimum curses, cures imagery of frailty, finity, and tolerance, yet you still ask why you are here. Two visible people, look at them boys. See as they crawl with each other's care up soft, damp river slopes. During droughts, they will make out on sidewalk and sidewalk grind on each other for beer money. Marvelously disturbed and distressed, a storm, more water perhaps may heal. And peace.
Just the one piece, Sean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, just the one piece.
Okay, cool. Enjoyed that. I was thinking that if I had beer money, I'd sell it for whiskey money. That's what I was thinking during the latter part of that.
But would you stoop so low as to make out on the sidewalk in front of dozens of people? tossing coins at you on the streets of LA.
Are they tossing coins as a tip for the making out?
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Spectacle. It's all about the spectacle.
I would absolutely do that. Yes. All right. Well, now we know what will be done. Sean, thank you so much for being here. I understand we have your brother as a featured reader in a few weeks, first week after I come back. So looking forward to that. Wondering if you guys are gonna like argue or fist fight or do brotherly things in the middle of the
I may not even show up.
Okay.
Because I love him
That
so
would be
much.
the ultimate, I think. Good. Very good. Cool. Well, looking forward to that. Thank you for bringing him to our attention, and thank you for being you in our attention. Round of applause for Sean Mahoney. On deck, Jennifer Elise Wang. Please welcome now Michael G. Hickey. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Rick. Hello, everyone. Sean, no sibling rivalry there, huh? That was awesome. I'm going to read one poem. This week and last week, I've been trying to get an enhanced driver's license so I can fly back to the Midwest and next month for a family function. And it's hard for me because I was adopted. And so on the birth certificate, it has my biological mother's name. And I did find her, well, she had died, but I found her family. And for baby, there is no name. And for father, I thought his name was redacted, but that's not true. I found out this week that it actually says for father, legally omitted, whatever the hell that means. This is called Redacted on Father's Day. Every father should remember that one day his son will follow his example instead of his advice. Charles Kettering. The adoption agency's official position was, quote, the couple kept company for 6 months, then decided that adoption was in the best interest of the child, unquote. I was 56 years old in 2013 when I learned from the state of Illinois that your name had been redacted from the birth certificate, making it easy to imagine that this hit and run of yours was because you couldn't live with the thought of marrying her or parenting me, or maybe it was rape, or maybe she never even told you she was pregnant. I'm not sure. But I do know this. Being pregnant, single, and Catholic in 1956 was akin to wearing sackcloth and spelling your name in scarlet letters. You, on this day, Father's Day, is because my adoptive father provided enough crazy love, anger, violence, and patriarchy to last me a lifetime. Ex-military, spare the rod, spoil the child, rule with an iron fist, whip your kid with an extension cord if he has the temerity to take a bath like a woman instead of a shower like a man, and whip him even harder if he dares to cry. So, as for you, dear old bio dad, and all the things we missed, fishing trips, fish and chips, Little League, Cub Scouts, etc., let me just say I don't know much about genetics, nature versus nurture, or rogue strands of DNA, but someday, on the other side, if there is an other side, I would like to know, since you provided no advice to follow in this life, if I maybe just by pure chance followed your example, whatever that example might have been. But regardless, either way, I want you to know you have nothing to apologize for, nothing at all, not even today on Father's Day. Thank you.
That's very forgiving of you, Michael, and interesting to hear your backstory. I hope you get the a real ID, I think they're calling it,
Right.
which makes me wonder, like, well, what's that thing I already have? You know, is that the fake ID? Have we all had fake IDs this whole time? I don't know, which leads us back to trying to buy alcohol from the previous conversation. I don't know. It seems like this is just flowing from one thing to another easily. Michael, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Michael G. Hickey. On deck, Martin Parker. Please welcome Jennifer Elise Wang. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, so kind of to continue the theme of this queer sensuality, I'm gonna bust out a poem that's kind of one of what I call my fictional alternate universes of what could have been. And the prompt came from take a line from James Tate. So the The prompt was Gabriella was lying on her back naked. And so the poem is bi-curious, or maybe more than that. Gabriella was lying on her back naked, while I had my towel wrapped around me, hiding for no real reason, as our parents left us alone for the day. Her eyes were closed, but maybe she was doing the same as me, sneaking furtive looks at her when I thought she wasn't looking. If my eyes were cameras, there would be feminist essays written about how they panned up the curves of her calves, over her pillowy yet strong thighs, around those golden curves that made an hourglass with the dusting of dark hair at the center. How perfectly poised her nipples were on breasts I told myself I wished I had to justify all my downward glances when she wore that tight V-neck top earlier, before we got in the pool. I couldn't help but wonder if the skin on her neck tasted sweet like the strawberry popsicles we ate earlier, even though women shouldn't be compared to food, especially one who had been my friend for so long. The time away had eroded the awkward adolescence from our bodies, but maybe not our minds. For when I finally dared to look at her face, I was met with wide green eyes. She blinked away her surprise and said with a giggle, "You can touch if you want. I can be your first girl kiss." A confession flew out of my mouth. I've never been kissed. A rapid slideshow of emotions were reflected in those emeralds, and I wanted to explain, but she interrupted me with a soft sigh. "I don't want that responsibility. I'm sorry." She closed her eyes again, and suddenly I was sorry too. And my second poem is both inspired by No Kings, but as my friends and I say, no kings but drag kings. And actually, this Sunday is going to be the premiere of the first all drag king competition on the free queer network channel Reverie, and two folks I know are going to be in there. So I am not a type of drag performer who does competitions, and this poem is a little bit about that and how drag kings have it a little bit tougher because we aren't always sparkly. So this is Pedestrian Drag. You call my drag pedestrian because I don't like rhinestones very much and don't have a three-piece suit or chest plate. I'm just a scrawny punk, repping guys who go more grunge than glam, strutting on the small bar stages in our cargo shorts and hoodies, snapbacks instead of crowns. No pageant or reality show aspirations here. I'm just a dude doing it for the dad jokes, the emo adolescence throwbacks, using my own hair like back in the day, the times when our arms are like mom's spaghetti, but we still nail every word of that rap. I don't death drop, I do push-ups because I've got the eye of a tiger, or I'm looking to start a fight club. Tyler Durden is definitely a drag persona. In a world of Maseratis and tricked out trucks, some of us just want to walk in our black and white chucks, the same ones I take to the stage.
Jennifer, thank you very much. I loved being introduced to the concept of pedestrian drag. Go with it. I think that's awesome. And also make sure you read the comments. There's a great offer for you from Finn Bell responding to something in your first piece. So there you go. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for Jennifer Elise Wang.
Thank you.
On deck, Scott Norman Rosenthal, please welcome now Martin Parker. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Rick, and everyone here. Good to see you tonight. Sorry I was a little bit late and didn't get to ask a question, but anyway, I thought I'd read speaking of real IDs, I got my license expired during the pandemic, and I thought I could just go down there and get it renewed. But they said, no, you got to make an appointment 6 months from now. So I was several months without an ID but it was during the pandemic, so nobody was checking IDs anyway. Anyway, these are a couple of poems about my partner. This first one is called Her Voice. Its sound is quite familiar now. At first it seemed a bit brash and loud, echoing through the telephone line within the walls of my freshman dorm. But now that I've heard it most every day for somewhere around 2/3 of my life, I savor its nuanced, resonant tones. The way she'll whisper in my ear or fill me with joy through the lilt of her laugh can make my whole day worthwhile. And then, speaking of kisses, this is called My Lover's Kiss. My lover's kiss is a summer thunder shower, at first playing gently across the meadow of my lips, soft raindrops falling on memories that vanish in the mist. Lightning strikes, showering me with mad emotion till I'm short of breath and my heart is beating in a ragged rhythm. Then she launches like the Leo she is, and I'm drenched in a passionate deluge that trails across my thirsty terrain. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Martin. Beautiful love poems. What a lucky person you have there who gets to be the recipient of those pieces. Thank you so much for sharing those with us tonight. Round of applause for Martin Parker. Thank you, Martin. On deck, Ken Scott. Please welcome now Scott Norman Rosenthal. Hello, Scott.
Hello. Now let's see here. I'm going to try to screen share. I don't know if you can see that. What apartheid? What genocide? She shoulders her book bag. Grandmother's hijab hangs in the closet. On campus, she kisses her lover. Two young women in shorts in sunlight. Freedom is not genocide, nor is sunlight. The prophets of glory and death have killed the flowers of art and wealth. Homes are husks, memory forbidden. Shops are filled, coffers bursting. Deception starves the people. The world surrounds the billboards of history. After classes, they walk, they chatter, free to be each other. That was about the only appropriate poem that I could locate. When I was younger, not knowing better, being autistic or whatever hell labels you want to use, they taught us about freedom and liberty in school. And I used to get incensed. I was like 10, 11, 12 years old, and I figured this out, that they picked on people for homosexuality. And then in school, they're teaching us that farmers, in effect, that farmers gave their lives for that freedom. Then years later, I got gay baited by people who had no idea what my preferences were. I suppose I'm boringly heterosexual, and not just heterosexual, but boring, I suppose, in other ways. But that's not the business. That's not the choice. That's not the point. The point is, we're not supposed to dictate to other people what they do in the privacy of their own homes when they're consenting adults, period. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
And it's worth at least a nickel, Scott. Thank you so much.
Really, that much? No. I'm trying to find how I get out of.
I took care of it. That's okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for your poem and sharing your thoughts on that. Round of applause for Scott Norman Rosenthal. Thank you so much, Scott. On deck, Heidi Casa. Please welcome now Ken Scott. Hello, Ken.
Good evening. Good evening. I have 2 moderate-sized poems, I guess dealing with the personal funk that I've been going through recently. First piece I wrote back in 2010 is called First Face. In the trunk of my memory resides an image of long ago, a face I used to wear before awakening, innocent and childlike, overflowing with laughter and tears. I closed my eyes, remembered, and wept. I dreamt that life was a jigsaw puzzle consisting of only two pieces that easily fit together. And yet, with so many years behind me, I need help with the sides, the edges, the dark alleyways that don't make sense to anyone but the lost and lonely. Sometimes it's like yearning to turn off pain like tap and the sex drive like a light switch so that you can remember what it feels like to forgive and be healed again. I want you to understand that pleasure and lust are the worst drugs of all, leaving precious hopes alone and dying like abandoned children and withering raisins, living dear lives like ravenous frustration. And I'm on a long, perilous journey, running through the dark labyrinth of dreams deferred, searching for the face, the image I can barely remember, the initial spark that makes it all worthwhile. End piece. Next piece I wrote after my mom's death, a few months after she died. This one is called O Weary Traveler. O weary traveler, will you ever find rest for your sorrowful soul? Or will you continue to wander from place to place until you waste away and cease to be? Will you ever have enough time in a day to find your way and simply be? Or will you continue to struggle against shadows, scream at illusions, and speak your mind to the empty air? O weary traveler, must you make a name for yourself in the dust? Whoever advised you to wear life like a loose garment must not have cared that much if death were to strip them naked and leave them to rot in an unmarked grave. Your name is worth far more than this. Please don't let them convince you otherwise. O weary traveler, find your kingdom, wear your crown, assume your throne, and be at peace. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Ken, thank you so much. A thoughtful pieces. Someone who's about to travel. I appreciated the flowing and traveling nature of that second piece that you did there, especially. Thanks so much for being here. Round of applause for Ken Scott. We've got a couple more, Heidi Casa, Dig Wayne, and then me, and that's what we got for tonight. So on deck is Dig Wayne. Please welcome now Heidi Casa. Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Rick. Hi, everybody. I have a new one, and then I have an older one that you've probably heard. Some of you have heard before. A medical memory contested. We've laughed and argued whether, hopped up on surgery meds, I really did hit on a guy in the elevator while drooling, the bloodied gauze flying onto the sidewalk when my mouth quit while he beelined away. I asked how it was possible, sensing she's stretching details for fun. My mother can have that story. She earned it, truth be damned, by providing days of cream of wheat, grape juice, popsicles, tuna fish, so I could watch a Kubrick marathon with my dad settled in the chair near the couch. I handle these details carefully, each one a bond I won't forget. Hours after oral surgery, half my face still sagged, tears of panic at paralyzation pooling only on one side. I'm grateful my mother called the surgeon to ask if my face was permanently changed, finding no worries. He gave me extra anesthetic because he asked me about my favorite movies, and I yapped instead of surrendering to the drug sleep. Only now do I wonder about the whirlwind inside my mother as she watched me, waited, then picked up that phone with both hands. And then this one, I was inspired to read it because of what Julian read tonight. Statue, Madonna with child, rare. The mother kneels, clasping her daughter, who clings to her over the bathtub ledge. Their anguished faces melting. As they weep, their reflection echoes in surrounding porcelain. Sinead's dripping voice haunts. Oh, Danny boy shakes the mother's face, and her daughter sees its plates shifting, an unsettled grief slipping in to pry open. Water on their faces everywhere, washing away 5-year-old curiosity and pictures of her recently dead grandma. Mother and child now pulled together in an embrace for the ages. Will you die too? Madonna with child, rare. A mother mourning her child's grief at losing her. Together they lament their future broken bond. Thank you.
Something old, something new, something lavender, something you. Heidi. I just wrote that right now in my head when you finished.
Something
Great.
haiku.
Could be, if you have a liberal enough definition of haiku. Thank you for being here. Beautiful work tonight.
Thank you.
Round of applause for Heidi Casa. On deck is me to close out the open. Please welcome now Dig Wayne. Hello, Dig.
Hello, Rick. I got 2 new ones. First one's called Outwalked My Shoes. My feet are soft cucumbers, left out of the conversation for too long. Black avocado meat lounging in the pit of my stomach puts a soft, cozy blanket over the subject of erectile dysfunction. My nappy hair punctuates and folds the lies I tell myself into origami elephants, trunk to tail, populating my bed dreams and pillow stampedes. The ignorance of greatness protects my weary ego from the blue fuzzy mold that runs amok, numbing scar tissue from my academic shortcomings. My prostate is on the warpath, silently burning bridges and painting tunnel entrances on rock-faced mountains. The pudding in my knees prefers to be called custard. The witch doctor will see you now. Thanks. This one's called Movement. What we must understand is that there is no more jazz. There is wind, there is sound, there is history. Muscles improvise, life is rehearsed as lived. Corners lie in wait for experiences. Trumpets blow themselves into fevers. What we must understand is that there is no more jazz. There is whiskey breath, counterintuitive indoctrination, high wire acts of courage under fireplaces, broken hearts of heartless people. Call me sentimental. There is no more jazz. Cigarettes killed jazz. Heroin killed jazz. Young men in baggy graphic t-shirts killed jazz. Brooks Brothers killed jazz. Windy, rainy days tried to revive jazz, if jazz did indeed live. What we must understand is that America is jazz. Jazz is America. We got to blame somebody. There is no more America. Therefore, build the gallows on quicksand, tip the scales, practice intolerance, take credit for absolutely everything that escapes you. Goodbye, pork pie sweat. Don't cry for the death of cool. They tried to tie Monk to the railroad tracks for dangerous plinky plonky. There ain't no wrong notes on the plinky plonky. Jazz is knowing life or impersonating a ghost. You must be jazz. 16 bar solo turnkey, innocent until proven. Just relax, you'll get used to it. There is no you, there is no jazz. Stay here, I'll be right back with proof. Remember America, remember jazz? There is no America, only an echo, only an echo. There is no jazz, only jazzy. Get used to it. And my apologies to Jimmy Jazz, because I did use your name a lot in that, and I was aware of that, sir.
That poem was a tour de force, Dig. I think you should hold on to that, do things with it, send it places, and make sure that a lot of people see it and have the opportunity to reject it until some wise person comes along and spreads it as widely. Really well done.
Thank you.
Even the line "dangerous plinky plonky" aside. Which I really loved. Even that, I love the line, the first line you started with, "My feet are soft cucumbers left out of the conversation too for so long." Well done. You're writing good stuff, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rick.
Sure. All right. Round of applause for Dig Wayne. Sad to hear about jazz, though. I really liked it. I am going to read a couple of poems. I'm going to start with my poem that I wrote for this week's Torah portion. Kind of a long quote I put in it, but basically the Israelites are hanging out and getting all these laws that they're supposed to follow, and one of which is you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. And one guy decides he's going to go and gather wood, which on the Sabbath, which is a violation of that law, and then he ends up dying. He just gets struck dead by the Almighty. This poem is called "Poem for the Wood Gatherer." It goes quickly, right from stoning a man to death for gathering wood on the Sabbath to being told to wear threads to remind us to not gather wood on the Sabbath, and 612 other things, lest we get commanded to stone someone to death for gathering wood on the Sabbath, or all those other things. This happens in the space of 4 verses. There is no mourning or funeral, none worth mentioning in our sacred text. There is no warning or pre-information telling the wood gatherer what the punishment might be. The threads were turquoise, if that makes any difference. It probably didn't to the wood gatherer. Yes, Ken. I'm not going to comment on that, but well done in the chat. I've been reading from this book, which is 300 some odd pages, much thicker than Richard or Christopher Bogart's book, as was mentioned earlier. But look what just came in the mail this week. Oh my God, my own copy of High Moose Alert. There's a moose on the cover. Look at that guy. Can you see him? Oh, he's technology is making him invisible. This is not officially out, but available for pre-order at a link that I will post in a minute. And I'm going to read to you a poem from High Moose Alert. Poems from Vancouver, the Yukon, and Alaska, as it says on the cover. This one is called Surviving the Ride to the Airport. So far, our driver to the airport drove through a red light, crossed a double yellow line into the carpool lane, used his phone to show me his website, and was 10 minutes late. Nice guy, though. Turns out he lives in our neighborhood, which is going to make the review awkward. He runs over a lot of the bumps that indicate you are too close to the next lane. His rearview mirror is a screen that displays a video of what is behind him. Finally, we're moving past this outdated reflection technology. When he's not driving, he trades foreign currency. Both careers must be going well. He interacts with the hand pedal like a heart attack. Someone in the next lane uses their turn signals. Our driver accelerates. No one gets in on his watch. He has coffee. I want coffee. There you go. That's an early poem from High Moose Alert, this book, which is now available. Let me paste the link into the chat if you want to check out some more poems from it and pre-order it. It's only 306 pages, which is 30 or 40 pages thinner than the other books, so much more reasonable to carry around from room to room. You could probably get away with just having one copy for upstairs and one copy for downstairs, I think, as opposed to one for every room. Just something to consider. It officially releases on July 29th, and I'm going to be reading poems from it for the rest of our natural lives until the next one comes out. So there you go. Thank you so much. All right. I want to say thank you to everyone else for being here, especially our featured reader, Regie Cabico. Regie, you were really phenomenal tonight. In writing, in performance, in presence here on the virtual Cobalt stage. There in the chat is the stuff again that I pasted earlier. There's a link to Reggie's Venmo. Please contribute to the virtual passing of the hat by sending Reggie something via Venmo. You can also download the broadside for Reggie's poem that he closed his set with there at that link at the Cobalt Poets website. When you're there, not only can you download that and see all the other broadsides published over the many years of the series, but click on calendar and see who's coming up in the coming weeks. Himat Malak, which could be pronounced so many wonderful ways, will be with us next week reading poems. Also on that website, click on email list if you're new here and want to start receiving the weekly emails with the flyer and with a convenient Zoom link. And a reminder when we're not having a reading, which is coming up soon as well. So if you like email, that's the way to go. I think that's everything I need to tell you about the website. Also, the next thing posted into the chat by me is a link to Reggie's book, A Rabbit in Search of a Rolex. Fantastic title at Day 8 Books. There's a link right to it right there. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, everyone who came and read. Thank you to those of you who just came to listen tonight. Really cool when people just show up just because they want to be here and hear poems. That's awesome. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to click on the Ask All to Unmute button, so feel free to say hi to each other.
Hey, each other. How's it going?
Hi to each other.
I had a good time.
Oh, that was great. That was splendid. Absolutely splendid.
I can't go on. I'll go on. Thank you.
Robert, you mentioned the third stream. I responded to that.
I noticed that.
That's so funny. Just a couple of weeks ago, I saw a thing about, Leonard Bernstein and who was the guy he was with? Who was the jazz guy he was with? And they were in the third stream.